Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And with that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsors. Organic herbs and botanicals, skincare and edibles, wellness for body and mind. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. Ronald Records. From indie gems to classic hits, discover the heart of local music. With live shows all the time, up close and personal, and regular releases on their in-house label. Ronald Records. Supporting the community, one track at a time. All right, thank y'all so much for watching. Again, shout out The Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and Portland Water. Thanks for keeping us hydrated. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Hey, how you doing? My name is David Pollack.
Hello.
Hey.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
I want you to tell us a little bit about, who you are, where you're from, what you do. Give us that Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Oh, yeah. So, my name is David Pollack. I'm originally from New York City, and been in Portland now for 8 years, and I do everything and anything in the Portland music community. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I do a lot of things.
Oh yeah. And what got you into music initially? What was the start for you?
Oh man, I used to. My parents had this Sony tape Walkman, where I could tape songs off the radio and then sing along to them. So I made these tapes called Davis Greatest Hits of basically karaoke when I was 4 years old.
Okay.
So I would go around and tape songs off the radio and sing along to them, and then I'd also tape the Power Rangers and sing along to the Power Rangers and whatever.
Do you still have those tapes?
Yeah, I still have them.
Nice. We're actually going to play it right now. No.
Yeah, I have them. They're here.
Hell yeah, I dig that.
Yeah, which is cool. Yeah.
And was anybody in your household musical at all growing up, or were you the first generation?
My dad played a little bit of guitar and sang.
Okay.
And he would sing at barbecues in the summer, family barbecues. We had a house in Long Island, and we'd go out there and have these family barbecues, and that was great. But he didn't do it professionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just played and appreciated.
He just played and appreciated.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he said he played in college, and he played, in the coffee house in college. He'd play in the Village, when he was younger. But never professionally.
Gotcha. Yeah. And then what brought you over to here? What eventually made you want to move across the country?
A couple things. One, I went to college in Vermont. I went to University of Vermont, Catamounts. And I always wanted to move somewhere like Vermont, but not with the cold winters.
Gotcha.
And then also I have some family in Seattle, so I went to Seattle a lot when I was a kid. And I loved the PNW. I always saw myself eventually moving out here.
Gotcha.
So, those two things together, I was looking for a place to move. I almost moved to Philadelphia, but I didn't move to Philadelphia. And then I came out to Seattle, and I was like, oh, I don't want to move to Seattle. It's not as cool as it was in the 90s.
Yeah.
So then I took a bus down to Portland, and I fell in love with Portland, and I ended up moving there a few months later.
Gotcha.
It's kind of crazy, yeah. And I only knew a couple people there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how heavily into music actively were you by that time?
Oh, heavily.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you'd pretty much established yourself pretty fully in the New York area.
Yeah.
Doing that, and then came here with it.
Yeah.
And then how long did it take you to kind of transition into the music space here?
Right away?
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you know people musically here already, or were you starting from scratch?
Pretty much starting from scratch.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I went to, in the beginning, I went to a lot of open mics and met people.
Yeah.
And booked a lot of shows. Got a band together pretty quickly. It's funny, my my friend and bass player Garrett I met him because I was on Craigslist, like looking for a place to live, and his sister was. I had like a Skype session with his sister to like see if I could sublet her room when she was leaving. And she was like, "Oh, I don't know if it's gonna work out, but I do know a bass player. My brother's a bass player. He's looking for people to play." When I got there, I started playing with Garrett right away, and then got into a drummer after that, and so that was pretty cool. So I kind of hit the ground running.
Yeah, hell yeah, I dig that.
Yeah.
Now, before we get into more of what you do in the present day, I do have a couple foundation questions I like to check in with everybody on.
Yeah.
And this first one's one we ask early, it's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Middle of Nowhere by Hanson. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Hanson, yep.
That might be the first time somebody has Hanson is a big running bit on this show.
Yeah.
So
I still like Hanson.
I mean,
I think they're great.
They are phenomenal.
That's the first record I ever had.
I've just never gotten anybody to give that answer before. That's amazing. Thank you for finally being the one person to do it. And then I guess what made you pick that one? What led you to that as your first choice?
Oh, the Eggo waffle commercial.
Okay.
With I'm talking about that one.
I know exactly.
Fly the wings of an eagle, fly along with the wind. Yeah, and I really just wanted that, so I went. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I got it.
Hell yeah, I dig that.
Yeah.
And then what was one of the first live shows you ever went to that was like specifically one you wanted to go to?
Well, I mean, there was a couple. My uncle took me to see the Philharmonic when I was really young.
Okay.
He had a friend that played in the Philharmonic.
Yeah.
So that was great. But I mean, I didn't like know that I wanted to.
Yeah, that's what I say. Like
really young.
You like first bought the.
But that was like my first time going to see and that was amazing.
That is a bananas first experience.
Yeah. The New York Philharmonic. I was really, really young.
Yeah.
A first show that I wanted to go to. But I went, my parents and my uncle and took me to a lot of stuff that I didn't know I wanted to go to.
Yeah.
So I went to a lot of stuff. I mean, I grew up in New York, so it was a lot.
No, for sure.
There was a lot that I went to. I'm trying to think of like the first show that I wanted to go to. That's a tough one because like when you're really young, you don't know that you want to go.
Exactly.
But you did go.
Like, what was the first one you like bought a ticket to?
That I bought a ticket to with my own money, so I must have been older then.
Yeah.
I think it was probably the Blink-182 and Weezer and Green Day.
Okay.
And
Hell yeah.
Blink-182, Weezer, Green Day. That's probably the first show I went to that I spent my own money.
Damn.
Maybe I didn't even spend my money. I didn't spend my own money for that either. I got that ticket bought.
Fair.
I don't know. I can't think of the because all these shows I got my parents paid for it or somebody else.
Well, it sounds like you've had a fair amount of live music experience.
A lot of live music experience that I didn't pay for.
Yeah, that's fair.
I didn't pay for anything probably until I was maybe in middle school.
I was gonna say, let me twist the question.
You know what I mean?
What was the?
So I can't remember.
I
went to so much music. Yeah.
What was the first live show you went to when you got out to Portland?
Oh, the first live show that I went to out in Portland.
Yeah. That was like not like just your like local open mic or something. Like the first like show you like went and saw.
Oh man, that's a really good question. Oh man. I don't know if I remember.
No, damn.
The first one here in Portland. I don't know. Yeah.
Damn. All right. So you really are just going to them all the time.
Yeah.
Are you still going to them pretty regularly
all the
now?
Time, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, at least a couple a week.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah, 2 a week or so.
Damn. All right.
Yeah.
And are those just like ones that you're like also playing at, or like that you're just going to attend?
Oh, then I'm just going to attend.
Okay.
And then I play. Oh man, I mean, it's hard to put an average to it, but like once or twice a week.
Yeah.
Playing.
All right. So you really are just
like some weeks I'm not. Some weeks I'm playing 4 times a week. Some weeks I'm playing none. So it's so hard to put a number on that.
No, I got you.
But like on average, I play 2 shows a week.
Okay.
That's on average.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then before we officially get into the now, do you have a defining moment where you decided you wanted to take music more seriously?
Yes. Oh, when I went to Bucks Rock Creative Arts Camp in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
I went there for like 3 years, and that was an amazing experience because everybody there was like kind of learning how to play at the same time.
Yeah.
And like collaborating and writing songs. It was just an amazing camp, and that experience made me want to, actually do it.
Gotcha. Hell yeah! I mean that sounds like a pretty definitive one.
Yeah, it was pretty great. And then I also in New York, I grew up busking a lot too. I would play, a few times a week in Central Park or for the Met.
When did
for a long time. I still busk now.
Okay, when did you start busking? Like, when was the first time you were like, all right, I'm gonna go outside, put a hat down, I'm gonna start playing and see what?
I think I was like 12.
Okay.
Or 13. I started playing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I remember I would play like the same song over and over. I think it was "Time of Your Life" by Green Day.
Okay.
That over and over again, and then "Iris" by the Goo Goo Dolls. I played it over and over and over again until I was good at it.
Yeah.
And that's how I.
Gotcha.
When I started making money, that's when I realized I was good because I was never able to practice at home. I had no motivation to practice at home. I needed to like go out and get money to practice to get motivation.
You had the performer's element in you before you even realized.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly. So that's kind of what that's how I, got my chops.
Gotcha.
Sure.
Man, that's a good way to do it. Jump in the deep end. You're gonna have to swim.
Yeah.
Now let's go ahead. Let's get on into more of the present day.
Sure.
We are going to get what I am sure is a very super easy one out of the way. How did you pick your artist name?
How to pick my artist name? I think my mom picked it actually.
Gotcha. So it's just your regular name.
Yeah. My mom picked it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she picked a good one.
Yeah.
It's definitely, and I always think it's interesting when people decide to go full name versus like, like some kind of stage name. But I mean,
I have a solo project, David Pollack, and then I do have a band too that I call Double Play.
God.
And that's called Double Play. Yeah.
Okay. So you live in both worlds.
Yeah, I live in both worlds.
Okay.
Yeah, I live in a lot of worlds.
Fair.
I live in both worlds. A Double Play is the initials of my name. And it's also a double play of, a baseball term, double play, 2 outs.
Now, are you the primary writer for Double Play? Yeah. Okay, so it's you literally have your project, which is you, and then you have your band project, which is you and the world of the band.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, I guess when it comes to writing, how do you? I mean, I guess, and you can kind of dictate it however you'd like as far as like either individually or just in general. But when it comes to getting a track started, what does that look like for you? What do you do to get going in the beginning?
Most of the time I'll go out, I'll like start writing songs or writing lyrics when I'm walking or when I'm on the plane or on the train. It comes easier to me when I'm moving. So I very rarely like write a song when I'm just stationary. So I'll write songs when I'm moving or walking, or if I'll come up with melodic ideas, I'll like hum them in my phone. And I'll come home and then I'll edit everything together and turn it into a song.
God.
And sometimes everything just comes in like 15, 20 minutes. Just comes really quick. And those are like the best songs.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they take time, or you mold 2 or 3 songs together over time.
Gotcha.
But a lot of the songs I like to write when I'm walking.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then as far as like the band side of things go, what does it look like once you have something there and you bring it to them? And I guess, how do you decide when it's like a band song versus a solo song?
I think I'll kind of make a distinction myself. Like, one song is more of I feel like the band is like very like power pop bass, like Weezer, like that kind of stuff. So if the song's kind of like that, and it needs drums, it needs bass guitars, then I'll bring it in.
Okay.
And we'll try it out. But everything else is usually David Pollack. And it kind of goes ebbs and flows. Like, sometimes I'm more heavy David Pollack than others. I'm more heavy Double Play.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right. Yeah. And then once you
David Pollack is, again, more broader, like everything else.
Yeah, very much so. And then once you get a track finished writing, so it doesn't have to be like released and recorded or anything like that, or I guess recorded and released. But like, you're ready to start kind of learning it and getting it out there. How long does it usually take you to feel comfortable enough to perform a track?
I don't know if there's an answer for that. I don't think there's any acceptable time.
Okay.
I think it just others a little longer than, some are longer than others.
Okay. So you're not
think
trying
this-
to just get them out there as soon as possible. You really kind of sit on them until they're like ready to play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
then ready to play is just is not a thing you could put into time.
fair. Yeah.
It just is.
No,
When they're ready, they're ready,
yeah. No, I dig that.
Yeah.
And actually, I went and checked out some of your music. So I jumped on.
Really?
Yeah, I jumped on.
I haven't even done that yet.
Oh no. Well, I'll be the first to tell you then. You've got music going all the way back to 2015 under your name.
Yeah.
And while
And there's some more stuff too that's not on Spotify that goes way back on the Bandcamp too.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there is some more just for the solo stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And while I was checking it out, you could definitely tell from the beginning you've definitely had like a style.
Mm-hmm.
You have a David Pollack sound for sure. But
Nice.
you've definitely not been afraid to like expand into other ranges and realms and really kind of like make what that could be a lot broader. I mean, like Blinded by the Sun was just this massive sounding track, but then like Turning Grapes, which is not too far from it, very somber, very compelling.
Yeah.
But your most recent EP, Wallflower, which just came out in March.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it's awesome.
Thank you.
I love that the whole EP, for not being a huge track count, it's only like 13 and a half minutes.
Yeah.
It's only 5 tracks. There's a real journey in it. Like from start to finish, the arrangement is really strong. The composition of each track is really strong. And there's just, each one had its own moment.
Mm-hmm.
And the first track, though, New Year's Day, that one grabbed me instantly. It was the very first track I listened to of yours. And I put it on and I was like, all right, the beginning is very unassuming, very sparse, very like, the guitar is panned on one side, your voice is just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden it just opens up. And the way that it opened up, it was so smooth. It was so well conducted that I was just like, I have a feeling I'm going to love everything I'm about to hear past this point. And I most certainly did. So I'm a big, big fan. It is really cool.
Thank you.
But I am curious to know, out of all the music you have available, what are some of your favorite tracks to perform?
Some of my favorite tracks to perform. I love performing Give the People What They Want.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of become like a staple now that everybody loves, and I love playing that, so I play that every time.
Mm-hmm.
I guess now, Wallflower, I'm playing that all the time now.
Yeah.
And that's a really fun song to play.
It's a good track.
That's a good track, yeah. My favorite track on that album is Inspiration.
God.
That song is just wild. How wild that song got production wise.
Very much.
Yeah, it's went farther than I thought it was going to be.
That is a lot of fun when you get those moments where you're like, we can do more to this, and you're like, well, let's do it, and it just becomes something kind of like outside of what it starts as.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now, go ahead.
Oh yeah, and then just another one on that album was the last track on there, Come Back Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote that with Jay Ringer. I don't know if you know Jay Ringer.
I don't offhand.
Yeah, he's a big, he's a personality, music personality in Portland. He's fabulous. Also a fellow busker. I wrote it. I was on the phone with him, and we were just talking and saying, like, oh, we do all these dumb things, but we come back anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea for a song. So we basically just started writing the song on the phone.
Oh.
He brought his keyboard. I was driving, and I like parked, and I got out, and I was pacing around the block, and like it was like, oh no, this is a good idea. This is good. So we basically like wrote the song impromptu, like 45 minutes on the phone.
Wow.
Then I went back and we went and edited it, but we basically wrote the bones of it.
You made
a
song
in 45
from
minutes
nothing.
On a phone call.
That might be one of the coolest like origin stories of a track I've hered in a while.
Yeah, incredible.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, and then he played on that track too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he played the keys on it.
That's awesome.
Killed it.
Now I want to take a moment. I want to zoom out. Kind of more music as a whole. What are you listening to right now? What are you taking in just as a music consumer?
What am I listening to right now? The Apricots.
Okay.
Really good. I love that.
Hell yeah.
I love that band. Yeah, in Portland. They're great. What What else am I listening to? This time of year, I'm listening to a lot of baseball, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, I listen to mostly baseball.
Gotcha.
Yeah, or KMHD.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
In the car.
Yeah.
Or at home. But like music-wise, like who else am I like really listening to right now? I don't know.
What was the last like album you put on to just like listen to?
I think it was Haim, actually. And I'm wearing the shirt today.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Because they're also going on tour and they just announced their show here in Portland.
Gotcha.
So I got the ticket. I put this on. I listened to the record because I have that on vinyl.
Okay.
Yeah, Women in Music Part 3. It's pretty good.
I need to start making a question that is, what is the most recent of all these things? That's a fun one for later.
Yeah. Yeah. But I love Haim too. Haim's great.
Hell yeah.
It's on my mind lately.
Hell yeah. I dig that.
Yeah.
Now
the Apricots have been my favorite in town right now.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Oh, very much so.
So good.
Very much so. And I'm sure they're watching. So
yeah.
If y'all ever want to be on the show. All right. Now, before we move into this next portion, this next question is probably the densest question in the interview.
Mm-hmm.
But we've talked about, your experience with music, the actions, the reactions. But when it's just you and music one-on-one, what does music give back to you?
What does music give back to me? If it's just one-on-one? Sense of purpose. Yeah. Sense of purpose. Community. Yeah. Communication.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to expand on any of that?
Well, I think music it's just a great way to communicate with somebody or via a medium that's, I think, more or that it gives more gravitas than just talking.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just more, there's more emotion and more color than, so I like using it as a communicative medium.
Gotcha. Okay.
And yeah, I think I it makes me feel good because I feel like I'm good at it. It's like one of the things I'm best at.
Yeah.
And it's the way I'm able to communicate the best. So it just gives me, it's like that's why it gives me purpose.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's the denser question, but
yeah,
it's I feel like it's a good middle point for sure.
Yeah.
But now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to some hypothetical questions.
Mm-hmm.
And for these, sky's the limits. The questions are all made up, so the answers are allowed to be as well. But this first one is pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
If you could work with any one person, the only requirement is they have to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
Well, I think the one would have been like Quincy Jones, but he just died. It would have been good. So I got to think of another one. Yeah, that would have been my answer.
Yeah.
If I were to work with one person and they have to be alive, man, I don't think there's anybody alive anymore. I don't know. That's a tough question.
Fair.
It's a really tough question. Yeah.
Fair.
Maybe come back to it.
Yeah. When something pops up, just shout it out.
Yeah.
For the next one, then, subsequently, who is a local artist that you're aware of that you haven't gotten to connect with yet, but you would like to?
Oh man, I've gotten in touch with most.
I was going to say, I imagine that might be a hard one at this point because
because I've played with everybody. Yeah.
Well, Portugal the Man's around here.
Yeah, that's true. That's a tough. These are tough.
That's fair. I was going to say this one might be a little tough because you have probably played with pretty much everybody here.
Yeah.
Is there anybody you found out about
or worked with? You know.
Is there anybody you found out about recently that you like finally connected with?
Man, these are tough questions. These are really tough questions.
The next two are easier ones, I
Yeah,
promise.
tough question. I don't know. Let's move on.
That's all right.
Yeah,
that's all right. And if everybody watching, if you can think of somebody he should perform with that he hasn't before,
yeah,
put them in the comments.
that would be great.
For this next one, like I said before, sky's the limit, and it's pretty literal in this sense. But if you could perform anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access or building stability or power, it was guaranteed the best lineup, guaranteed the best show. It doesn't have to be a venue; it could be anywhere. Where would you want to perform?
Probably Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, that was the dream goal of this show, to get there one day, and then Kill Tony beat me to it. And they did their podcast there first. So now I'm gunning for Red Rocks.
I like Madison Square Garden.
That is like the quintessential, like, you made it when you're doing like the arena of Madison Square Garden.
Mm-hmm.
And not just the theater that's there. That only half the people know about.
Yeah.
All right. And then
definitely Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. And then before we start wrapping it up, if you could get one more album from anybody, they could be alive, they could be dead, they could have not put out an album in 100 years, they could have put out an album yesterday. Who would you want an album from?
Joni Mitchell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which we might get. You never know.
Fair. Yeah. You never know when stuff's going to come out.
You kind of got a live record from her. A little one. You did.
True.
The one that she did with Brady Carlisle and all those people out in the Gorge, right? Or no? Well, they did do a thing at the Gorge, and then they also did a thing at the Folk Fest, right? Newport Folk Fest, I think it was.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would love to get something. Is she still alive? She's still kicking?
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
Well, Joni, if you're watching,
I'll get it.
Let's do it.
I think Joni is one.
I imagine so.
Yeah.
All right, but with that,
maybe Joni Mitchell is the person that I would work with.
Oh,
maybe. Let's say.
Well, again, Joni, if you're watching,
she's alive.
Let's do it.
I would love to work with Joni Mitchell.
Yeah.
I'd also, you know what? I also love to work with Paul McCartney. He's alive too.
Yeah.
Now it's opening up the floodgates a little bit. Yeah. Paul McCartney.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I'd like to also expand on all the other things I do. I run a nonprofit with Johnny Frankel called Curbside Serenade.
Oh, cool.
And we put on shows in pedestrian plazas, parks, farmers markets.
Mm-hmm.
We're most known for Johnny Franco and his real brothers Dom's variety show in Laurelhurst Park on every Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to start a little bit later this year, July. And then I do Mount Tabor Monday every Monday.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be doing something in Director Park on Wednesdays downtown. Then we also do monthlies. We did our first one at the St. John's Farmers Market, first Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, first Saturday. And then third Sunday at Rainbow Road, 28th and Ankeny.
Damn.
Pedestrian Plaza, yeah. So we do a lot of stuff. And this is like our busy season.
I was going to say,
getting into it. Our season's like April to October, and this is the busy part of it.
That is a full-time schedule for sure.
Yeah.
And actually, that segues well into our next bit, which is just kind of telling us what we can look forward to.
Oh,
is there anything else we can look forward to in the next 6 months we should be aware of, or is that kind of the gist of it?
Yeah, that one too. We're gonna be at Shady Pines Radio Festival, Shady Pines Fest. Be playing on the 17th of July, and the whole festival 17th through I think the 20th.
Gotcha.
Tickets are on sale now, so get your tickets for Shady Pines. Have you ever heard of Shady Pines Radio?
Yeah. I'm blanking on the name now, but I've interviewed somebody who does a show on there.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Brian Callie, Shady Pines Radio. Yeah. Check out Shady Pines Radio and their music festival. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing a little mini fest on July 13th in the Mount Tabor Amphitheater area, too, for Curbside Serenade.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I also do like kids' music, too. I do a lot of kids' music on the side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a show with Ants?
Yes, yes, but not myself when I was with Jessica Campbell and the Saplings.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I play with Jessica Campbell a lot. I also play with Jessica Campbell, and I've done that for a long time. And I've just started playing with Kelly Welly.
Okay.
No, they're cute.
Yeah.
kitty musician. And then but what I do mainly is I teach a class called Junior Jams and Music Exploration.
Wow, you wear every hat.
I wear every hat. I do like 5 things.
Now I guess do you do music production as well? Is that
no?
Okay,
No,
I was like, we've got to find the line somewhere.
Yeah, I don't do music production, but the last record I did was produced by Aaron Peterson.
Oh hell yeah!
Of New Body Electric.
Nice.
I mean, he's great.
Yeah.
Great producer.
Hell yeah.
Do you know him?
Not offhand. No. Hey, if you want to be on the show though.
Yeah, he would love to be on the show. Yeah.
And then for this next one, go and look straight at your camera. Tell everybody how they can find you.
Well, you can probably find me in the street busking, but you can also find me at davidpollackmusic.com. POLLACK, davidpollackmusic.com.
Oh yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Like just shout outs in general, or
just anybody you want to name drop while you're here.
No.
Fair. I mean, you did just name a bunch of people you're working with already. So
yeah.
All right. Then with that being said, I've got one last question to go.
Cool.
Before we do, I'm gonna steal the camera for just a second.
Cool, man.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and Portland Water. Thanks for keeping us hydrated. And with that being said, the final question.
Ronald Records rules.
Yeah, they're shout out to Ronald Records. They
rules.
Big fan.
I like
big,
that
big
place
fan.
a
I love
lot.
everything they do for music.
Yeah, I like that place a lot.
Yeah.
They're a cool spot.
All right. But to wrap it up.
Yeah.
And you can kind of answer this however you want to interpret it. But what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side? So it's a bit of a deep cut. It's one not a lot of people would know, but it's one you think everybody should know.
Oh, Bleenix by La Rug. Yeah, they're a band that has since broke up from New York.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Damn, that's one I'm not familiar with.
It's called Bleenix. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the artist called La Rug, but they're no longer.
Gotcha.
But the record's great.
Is that L-A then capital R-U-G or is it
L-E? Yeah, L-E-R-U-G.
Gotcha.
Space R-U-G. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah, La Rug.
All right. Well, thank you for that rec.
Yeah.
All right. But with that being said.
Good.
All right. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah. I mean, I like subs a lot, but raps are cool too. Yeah.
Oh my. First of all, that's staying in for sure. But that was great. Thank you so much. And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm David.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.